The large meeting room was silent, too silent. June Kim stood by the window, looking at the Seoul skyline. The morning sun made the buildings shine like gold. He took a deep breath and turned to face the others. "They will be here in 1 hour," he said. Hannah Park nodded. Her gray hair was tied back tightly and her uniform showed her high rank in Earth's Defense Force. She had fought in the last Earth War 20 years ago. Now, at 53, she hoped never to fight again. "Are we ready?" she asked. Tae Lee looked up from his tablet. At 34, he was the youngest person in the room. But his mind was perhaps the sharpest on the planet. His defense shield system protected the entire Earth. "The defense system is at full power," Tae said. "They won't detect it unless we turn it on, but we can have it working in seconds if needed." June nodded. "Good. But let's hope we don't need it today." In the year 2150, Earth was different. After centuries of fighting among themselves, humans had finally united under one government called the Earth Collective. They had discovered faster-than-light travel just 15 years ago. Since then, they had explored nearby star systems but had not met any alien life. Until 3 days ago. The message had come from a group calling themselves the Galactic Confederation. They had 32 different species in their alliance, and they wanted to meet Earth's leaders. The message seemed friendly, but it also held a warning. A dangerous enemy called the Void Dwellers threatened the galaxy. The Confederation was fighting them, and they expected Earth to join this fight. The alien ship landed exactly on time. It was huge, like a floating silver city. It hovered over the landing pad, then gently touched down. The gathered crowd of officials and reporters went silent. A door opened in the side of the ship. A ramp extended to the ground. 5 beings walked down. They were tall, nearly 2.5 meters. Their skin was pale blue and they had 4 arms each. Their faces had 2 large eyes that blinked sideways. The one in front wore a fancy uniform with many decorations. This was clearly their leader. "Welcome to Earth," June said, stepping forward. "I am June Kim, representative of the Earth Collective." The alien leader raised all 4 hands in some kind of greeting. "I am High Commander Drawl of the Galactic Confederation," it said in perfect English. "We are pleased to finally meet the humans of Earth." The meeting room was large with a round table in the center. The Earth team sat on one side. June, Hannah, Tae, and several other top officials. The aliens sat across from them. "Let me explain why we are here," Commander Drawl said. "For 100 of your Earth years, the Confederation has been at war with the Void Dwellers." Images appeared above the table. They showed strange, dark ships attacking planets, cities burning, people running. "The Void Dwellers come from the dark space between galaxies," Drawl continued. "They destroy everything they touch. We have fought them back, but at great cost." One of the other aliens spoke up. This one had strange markings on its face. "Every species in the galaxy must join this fight," it said. "That is why we are here. Earth must contribute ships, weapons, and soldiers to our cause." Hannah's eyes narrowed. "You're not asking. You're telling us to join your war." "It is everyone's war," Drawl said. "The Void Dwellers will come here eventually. Better to fight them with us than alone." June leaned forward. "We understand your concern, but Earth has just achieved space travel. Our fleet is small. We are explorers, not warriors." "Yet your world shows signs of advanced defense technology," said another alien. This one had darker, blue skin and seemed to be looking directly at Tae. Tae kept his face calm, but under the table his hand tightened into a fist. How did they know about his shield system? "We protect our planet," Hannah said. "That's different from joining a galactic." "Or, you misunderstand," Drawl said. Its voice was still friendly, but there was a new edge to it. "This is not a request. All species must contribute to the defense of the galaxy. It is your duty." The room went quiet. June looked at Hannah, who gave a small shake of her head. "Hi, Commander," June said carefully. "Earth respects the Galactic Confederation. We are honored by your visit." But we must decline your invitation to join this conflict. All four of Dral's eyes blinked rapidly. Decline? It asked. Nobody declines. Earth has no quarrel with these void dwellers, June said. We have never met them. Our policy is non-intervention in conflicts that don't threaten our world. The aliens looked at each other. They seemed confused, maybe even angry. This is most unusual, Dral said. Most concerning. We are happy to discuss trade, cultural exchange, and peaceful cooperation, June added. But Earth will not send its people to die in a war we don't understand. Dral stood up suddenly. All four arms were stiff at its sides. You make a grave mistake, it said. There are consequences to standing apart from the galaxy. After the aliens left, the Earth team gathered in a secure room deep underground. That went badly, Hana said. We couldn't agree to their demands, June replied. They wanted us to send millions of our people to fight and die. Without question. Without explanation. Tay was working on his tablet. His fingers moved quickly over the screen. There's something not right about this, he said. I've been analyzing the data from their ship while they were here. Their technology is advanced, yes, but it's strange. Strange how? Hana asked. It doesn't all seem to come from the same place. Some parts look like they were taken from other civilizations, and there's something else. Tay showed them his screen. It displayed a complex graph. Their ship was scanning us the whole time. Not just the city, they were scanning our minds. What? June was shocked. Some kind of technology that reads brain patterns. I detected it and blocked it, but they were trying to read our thoughts. Hana's face went hard. I knew we couldn't trust them. We need to prepare, June said. They may come back, and they may not be so friendly next time. I'll activate the planetary shield system, Tay said, but quietly. We don't want to cause panic. And I'll put our defense forces on alert, Hana added. Quietly, as you say. June walked to the window. The alien ship was just a dot in the sky now, heading back to space. We chose peace, he said softly. I hope they respect that choice. 3 days later, June was woken in the middle of the night. His communication device was flashing red, the highest emergency level. What is it? He asked, instantly awake. Hana's face appeared on the screen. You need to come to Defense Command. Right now, we've detected something entering the solar system. 20 minutes later, June stood in front of a large screen showing the solar system. Many red dots were moving toward Earth. A fleet? He asked. Yes, Hana said. But not the Confederation. These ships don't match their design. Tai was working at a control panel nearby. They're coming fast, but they're not on an attack path. They're taking defensive positions around our planet. Defensive? June was confused. Against what? As if in answer, another alert sounded. A new image appeared on the screen. Far out at the edge of the solar system, a massive group of ships had just appeared. They were huge, much bigger than the ships now orbiting Earth. One of Hana's officers spoke up. Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the First Fleet. They say they are the Void Dwellers. They say they've come to warn us. Warn us about what? June asked. The officer looked up, her face pale. About the Galactic Confederation. They say the Confederation is coming to destroy Earth. Tay looked at his readings. The new ships at the edge of our system. They bear Confederation markings. June and Hana looked at each other. Earth had refused to fight the galaxy's war. Now the war was coming to Earth. The Earth Defense Command Center was busy. People ran back and forth. Screens showed the two alien fleets. One fleet circled Earth in a protective ring. The other, much larger fleet waited at the edge of the solar system. We need to talk to these Void Dwellers, June said. Find out what they want. Hana nodded. But be careful. This could be a trick. A young woman stepped forward. She had short black hair and bright eyes. Her name was Sun Choi. At 25, she was the best communications officer in the Earth Fleet. Sir, I've been studying. They're signals, Sun said. They're trying to talk to us, but their language is complex. Can you decode it? June asked. Sun smiled. I already have, mostly anyway. They want to meet with us. 2 hours later, A small ship from the Void Dweller fleet landed at the Sol Diplomatic Center. Earth soldiers watched carefully as the door opened. The being that stepped out was nothing like the Confederation aliens. It was about human height but looked like it was made of shifting shadows. Its form changed slightly as it moved, like smoke in the wind. "Welcome to Earth," June said, trying to hide his surprise. The being made a gentle motion with what seemed to be its hand. When it spoke, its voice was soft and musical. "I am called Nameless in your tongue," it said. "My true name cannot be pronounced by humans." "Why have you come to Earth?" Hana asked. She stood beside June, her hand near her weapon. "To warn you, and to seek alliance," Nameless said. "The Confederation is not what it claims to be." They sat in the meeting room. Nameless did not sit on a chair but floated slightly above it. Li watched the being with great interest. "The Galactic Confederation told us that you are dangerous," June said. "That you attack worlds without reason." Nameless made a sound, like sad laughter. "They have been telling that story for centuries," it said. "It is how they justify their actions. The truth is the opposite. We do not destroy worlds. We try to save them." "Save them from what?" Hana asked. "From the Confederation itself," Nameless replied. "They are not an alliance of equals. They are conquerors. They find worlds with resources they want. They demand these worlds join them in their war against us. Then they take everything of value." Tay looked up from his tablet. "That matches what I found. Their ship had technology from many different cultures. Stolen technology." "Yes," Nameless said. "And they have come to take yours. Your world has something they want very much." "What?" June asked. "Your defense shield system," Nameless said. "It is unlike anything they have seen before. They want it. They will take it. And they will leave your world empty." The room went quiet. Hana looked at June. "How do we know we can trust you?" she asked Nameless. "You don't," Nameless replied simply. "But ask yourself this. We arrived first. We could have attacked. Instead, we formed a defensive ring around your planet. Why would we do that if we wanted to harm you?" Captain Kyung Bae stood on the bridge of the Earthship Guardian. It was the largest ship in Earth's small fleet. Through the view screen he could see the massive Confederation fleet in the distance. And closer, the strange ships of the Void Dwellers. "Captain, we're receiving a message from Earth Command," his officer said. Kyung was 43 years old. He had gray at his temples and a scar on his cheek from an old training accident. He had never expected to face alien ships in battle. "Put it through," he said. June's face appeared on the screen. "Captain Bae, we have new information. The Void Dwellers are not our enemy. The Confederation is the real threat." Kyung frowned. "Are you sure?" "As sure as we can be," June replied. "We need your fleet to work with the Void Dwellers. They will share tactical information." After the call ended, Kyung looked at his crew. "Well, it seems we have new allies. Let's hope they fight as well as they talk." Back on Earth, Li and Jin Yu worked in a large laboratory. Jin was a civilian engineer who had been called in to help. He was 32 with round glasses and quick hands. "Can we really adapt their technology to our systems?" Jin asked, looking at the strange devices the Void Dwellers had shared. "We have to," Tay replied. "The Confederation fleet is twice the size of the Void Dwellers, and they have planet-killer weapons." Jin picked up one of the devices. It seemed to shift and change in his hands. "This doesn't even follow the laws of physics as we understand them," he said. "The universe is bigger than our understanding," Tay said. "That's why we need to learn fast." In the Defense Command Center, June and Hana met with Nameless and another Void Dweller. This one was different. It seemed older somehow, its shadowy form moving more slowly. "This is Elder Crane," Nameless said. "He has fought the Confederation for 300 of your years." Elder Crane's voice was deep and rough. "The Confederation will not talk. They will attack soon. Their main weapon is deception. They will try to make you doubt us." As if on cue, a communication officer called out, "We're receiving a transmission from the Confederation fleet. Commander Draal's face appeared on the main screen. All 4 of its arms were visible, holding what looked like ceremonial weapons. "People of Earth," Draal said. "You have been deceived by the enemy. The creatures you call Void Dwellers are manipulating you. They are mind controllers. They create illusions. Do not trust what they show you." June looked at Nameless, who stood calmly. "Let me guess," June said to Draal. "If we hand over the Void Dwellers and our shield technology, you'll leave us in peace?" "We want to help you," Draal said. "The Void Dwellers will consume your world from within." Hana stepped forward. "Like you've helped other worlds? By taking their resources and leaving them empty?" Draal's face changed. The fake friendliness disappeared. "You have made your choice then," it said. "Earth has betrayed the galaxy. Prepare for cleansing." The screen went blank. Alarms blared throughout the command center. Officers rushed to their stations. "The Confederation fleet is moving," someone shouted. "They're heading for Earth at full speed." Outside in space, the Void Dweller ships moved to intercept. The Earth fleet, led by Captain Kyung, joined them. June looked at Hana. "Can we win this?" "I don't know," she replied honestly. "But we'll fight." Elder Crane moved closer to them. "There is something you should know. Something that might help." "What?" June asked. "The Confederation leaders are not what they seem," Elder Crane said. "They are not individual beings. They are parts of a single mind, a hive that controls the rest." Tay, who had just entered the room, heard this. His eyes widened. "A hive mind," he said. "That explains the brain scanning technology. They weren't just reading our thoughts. They were testing us for compatibility." "Compatibility for what?" Hana asked. "For control," Nameless said. "For becoming part of them." A new alarm sounded. On the main screen, they could see the First Confederation, ships breaking through the defensive line. The war for Earth had begun. The sky over Earth filled with light. Space battles raged across the solar system. The Confederation ships were large and powerful. They pushed through the defensive line of Void Dweller ships. "They've landed forces on the moon," reported an officer in the Earth Defense Command Center. "And they're moving toward Mars." Hana turned to a tall, serious man standing nearby. This was Min Kang, the commander of Earth's ground forces. He was 42 with a strong jaw and steady eyes. "Min, prepare your teams," Hana said. "If they break through, we'll need ground defense." Min nodded. "My forces are ready, but we've never fought aliens before." "No one on Earth has," Hana replied. "We'll learn fast or we won't survive to learn at all." In space, Captain Kyung's ship Guardian moved fast between larger Confederation vessels. His smaller fleet used hit-and-run tactics. "Fire at the engine section," Kyung ordered. His crew worked quickly. The Guardian's weapons, now enhanced with Void Dweller technology, cut through the Confederation ship's shields. The large enemy vessel started to drift. "Good work," Kyung said. "Move to the next target." But for every enemy ship they disabled, 3 more took its place. The Confederation fleet seemed endless. Kyung's communication officer looked up with worry. "Captain, the enemy has broken through Sector 7. They're heading straight for Earth." In the laboratory deep under Seoul, Tay and Jin worked without rest. Elder Crane floated nearby, sharing knowledge about Confederation technology. "If they're a hive mind," Jin said, "couldn't we disrupt their connection somehow?" Tay's eyes lit up. "Yes, like a signal jammer, but for their specific brain patterns. It would need to target their control frequency without harming other species," Elder Crane said. "The Confederation soldiers are victims too. Many are controlled against their will." Jin picked up a small device. "Could we modify this Void Dweller communication tool? It already works with thought patterns." "Possibly," Elder Crane said. "But to find the right frequency, we would need a sample. Someone would need to get close to their leaders." Tay looked grim. "That means boarding their command ship." On the moon, Earth forces faced their first ground battle against alien troops. Min Kang stood in a pressurized command tent, watching battle feeds. The Confederation soldiers were not all the same species. Some were the blue four-armed beings they had first met. Others were completely different, some with scales, others with fur. All wore similar armor with the Confederation symbol. They don't fight well together, Min observed. It's like they're being controlled, but poorly. His second-in-command nodded. They have better weapons, but our forces are more creative. We're holding the southern crater. For now, Min said. But they keep sending more troops. We need a better plan than just holding ground. Back on Earth, Jun Kim sat in a quiet room with communications equipment. He was trying something that might seem hopeless. Diplomacy. This is Earth Representative Jun Kim, he said into the transmitter. I am sending this message to all worlds of the Confederation. We believe many of you may be under control against your will. If any free minds can hear this, please respond. For hours there was no answer. But then a weak signal came through. The face on the screen was one of the blue four-armed beings, but this one looked different, the eyes clearer, more aware. I am Sub-Commander Lanak, the alien said quietly. There are resistance groups on 12 Confederation worlds. We have fought the mind control for years. We may have a way to break the control, Jun said. But we need information about the leadership and their ships. I will help, Lanak said. But be careful. They are watching for rebellion. The signal suddenly cut off. Jun didn't know if Lanak had been discovered or just needed to hide. Either way, it was a first contact with potential allies inside the enemy. The battle for Earth's orbit had begun. Confederation ships broke through the outer defenses. Earth's planetary shield activated, covering the planet in a faint blue light. The shield is holding, an officer reported. But they're concentrating fire on key points. It won't last forever. Hana turned to Jun, who had just entered the command center. Did you make contact? Yes, Jun said. There are resistance groups within the Confederation. They might help us. We need more than help, Hana said. We need a miracle. At that moment, Tay and Jin rushed into the room. We have an idea, Tay said. A way to break the hive mind's control, but it's risky. Tell me, Hana said. We can create a device that disrupts their control frequency, Jin explained. But it needs to be taken to their command ship and activated. In their control center. A suicide mission, Hana said quietly. Maybe not, Jun replied. If we can coordinate with Lanak's resistance, we might get a team in and out. It's our best chance, Tay added. The shield won't hold forever, and they've started moving planet-killer weapons into position. Hana looked at the battle screens. Earth vessels fought bravely, but they were outnumbered. The Void Dweller ships were taking heavy losses. How long to build this device, she asked. The prototype is ready, Jin said. We just need to test it. No time for testing, Hana decided. We go with what we have. Sun Choi worked at her communication station when she noticed something strange. While monitoring Confederation signals, she felt an odd sensation in her mind. Sir, she called to Jun. I think they're trying to use their mind control on Earth now. Other staff members reported similar feelings. Headaches, strange thoughts, voices in their minds. But Sun realized something else. I can feel them trying, but it's not working on me. Not completely. Tay hurried over and scanned her brain patterns. Interesting. Your neural pathways are resistant to their frequency. That could be very useful. Hana, who had been listening, made a quick decision. Sun, you're going on the mission to the command ship. If you can resist their control, you might be able to get closer than anyone else. Sun looked surprised but nodded. Yes, sir. I'll go too, Jun said. I can try to contact the resistance once we're aboard. And I'll lead the team, Hana added. Tay and Jin will guide us remotely. As they started planning, a massive explosion shook the building. Part of the shield had failed, and Confederation forces had landed on Earth's surface. We're out of time, Hana said. Min, hold them off as long as you can. Kyung, we'll need a ship to get us to the Confederation command vessel. Guardian will get you there, Kyung's voice came through the comm. Though it might be a one-way trip. Jun looked at Hana and Sun. The fate of Earth now rested on a desperate mission into the heart of the enemy fleet. Let's go, he said. Captain Kyung's ship Guardian moved through the battlefield at top speed. Inside, Hana, Jun, and Sun prepared for their mission. They wore spacesuits designed to look like Confederation armor. Once we dock with their command ship, we'll have 30 minutes to find the control center, Hana explained. The Guardian will create a distraction to draw away their fighters. June checked the small device that Tay and Jin had built. It was the size of his hand, with strange patterns that shifted across its surface. This disruptor has to be placed in the main control room, he said. According to Lanak's information, that's on the central deck. Sun sat quietly, eyes closed. She was practicing blocking the mind signals that were getting stronger as they approached the Confederation command ship. I can feel them pushing against my mind, she said, but I can push back. It's like building a wall in my thoughts. The ship shook as it took fire from enemy vessels. We're approaching the command ship, Kyung called from the bridge. Get ready. On Earth, the situation was getting worse. Parts of the shield had failed and Confederation troops had landed in several locations. Min Kang led the ground defense in Seoul. Hold the line, he shouted to his soldiers. They fought from behind barriers in the streets. The Confederation soldiers advanced steadily. They moved like they were all controlled by a single mind, which they were. Min noticed something strange. When they managed to kill one of the Confederation officers, the ones with special helmets, the regular troops nearby became confused for a few seconds. Target the officers, Min ordered, the ones with the marked helmets. This new tactic worked better. Without their direct controllers, the enemy soldiers became disorganized, but there were so many of them, and more ships landed every hour. In the laboratory, Tai and Jin watched data feeds from the mission team. Elder Crane floated nearby, providing advice. They've docked with the command ship, Tay said. Hana's team is inside. Jin worked on a backup plan. If they can plant the device, we'll need to trigger it remotely. I'm setting up the signal now. The device must be placed at the exact center of their control systems, Elder Crane said. Only there will it affect all their connection points. Tay's screen suddenly flashed red. We have a problem. The Confederation has moved their planet killer into position. They're preparing to fire on Earth's surface. Inside the massive Confederation command ship, Hana led her small team through the corridors. They had entered through a maintenance dock, avoiding the main halls. So far, their disguises were working. This way, Sun whispered. She could feel the pull of the control center. The signals are stronger from that direction. They moved quickly but carefully. The ship was huge, with ceilings 3 times human height to accommodate the various alien species. Stop, June said suddenly. Someone's coming. They pressed against a wall as a group of high-ranking Confederation officers passed. Unlike the regular troops, these beings moved with purpose. Their eyes glowed with an eerie blue light. Those are the direct links to the hive mind, Sun said. They're like relay stations. After the officers passed, they continued toward the control center, but at the next intersection they found their path blocked by guards. We need a distraction, Hana said. June looked around and spotted a control panel. I have an idea. He moved to the panel and pressed several buttons. Alarms started blaring in a different section of the ship. Now, Hana said as the guards ran toward the false alarm. They hurried through the empty corridor and finally reached a massive door. Beyond it was the control center. How do we get in? Sun asked. Like this, Hana said. She pulled out a small explosive charge and placed it at the edge of the door. Back on Earth, the battle continued. In orbit, the planet killer weapon began to glow as it charged up. 60 seconds until it fires, an officer reported in the Defense Command Center. Kyung's voice came through the comm. Guardian is moving to intercept, but we won't reach it in time. Min's forces on the ground were being pushed back toward the center of Seoul. We can't hold much longer, Min reported. In the laboratory, Tay and Jin watched helplessly. Hana, you need to hurry, Tay said into the comm. They're about to fire the planet killer. The explosion blew open the door to the control center. Hana, June, and Sun rushed in, weapons ready. Inside was unlike anything they had expected. The room was filled with tanks. In each tank floated a small creature that looked like a glowing jellyfish. Tubes connected all the tanks to a central pillar. The hive mind, Sun whispered. These are the true controllers. Confederation officers turned toward them in surprise. Then, as one, they reached for their weapons. "Place the device," Hana shouted, firing her weapon at the officers. June ran toward the central pillar with the disruptor device. Sun followed, using her mental resistance to push back against the sudden psychic attack that all of them felt. "They're in my head," Hana gasped, fighting to keep control. "So many voices." Sun grabbed her arm. "Focus on my voice. Build walls. In your mind like I showed you." June reached the central pillar but was tackled by a Confederation officer. They fought on the floor, the device sliding away. Hana and Sun were surrounded. More officers poured into the room. "The device!" June shouted. "Get the device!" Sun dove for it, sliding across the floor. She grabbed it and rolled to her feet. But her path to the central pillar was blocked. "Throw it to me," Hana called. She was closer to the pillar. Sun threw the device. Hana caught it and turned toward the pillar. But before she could reach it, she was hit by enemy fire. She fell to her knees. "June," she called, holding the device out. "Take it." June fought free of his attacker and ran to Hana. He took the device from her hand. "Go," she said. "I'll hold them off." Taking a last look at his friend, June ran for the pillar. Sun provided covering fire, keeping the officers back. June reached the pillar and placed the device against it. It attached itself and began to glow. "It's in place," he called to Tay through the comm. "Activate it." In the laboratory, Tay and Jin worked frantically. "Sending activation signal now," Tay said. Jin looked at another screen. "The planet killer is firing. 10 seconds until impact." In the control center, the device began to pulse with light. The creatures in the tanks writhed. The Confederation officers grabbed their heads and began to scream. "It's working," Sun called. June still stood by the pillar, holding the device in place. "It needs to complete the cycle. Someone has to stay with it. Get out of there!" Tay's voice came through the comm. "The disruption will trigger a chain reaction in their systems." Hana, wounded but still conscious, looked at June. She understood what he was doing. "Sun," she called. "Help me up. We need to go." "But June..." Sun started. "He's staying," Hana said. "It's his choice." June nodded to them. "Go. Tell Earth we won." Sun helped Hana to her feet, and they began making their way out. June stood alone among the screaming officers, holding the device as it grew brighter. Through the ship's viewport, he could see the planet killer weapon firing its beam toward Earth. But before the beam reached the planet, it suddenly wavered and disappeared. All across the ship, systems began to fail as the hive mind lost control. June smiled. Then the world went white. On Earth, everyone watched in amazement as the Confederation ships suddenly stopped firing. Many drifted aimlessly. The soldiers, on the ground, dropped their weapons and looked around in confusion as if waking from a dream. "What's happening?" Min asked through the comm. "The hive mind is broken," Elder Crane replied. "The control is gone. In orbit." The Guardian picked up a small escape pod from the command ship. Inside were Hana and Sun, both injured but alive. "June?" Tay asked when they reported in. "He stayed behind," Hana said quietly. "He saved us all." 3 months later, Hana stood before the new Galactic Council. Representatives from Earth, the Void Dwellers, and the now free worlds of the former Confederation sat together. "The parasites that controlled the Confederation have been contained," a former Confederation representative said. "Many of our people remember nothing of the war. They were not in control of their actions." "We understand," Hana said. "Earth proposes a new alliance, one based on freedom and cooperation, not control." The Void Dweller representative, nameless, made a gesture of agreement. "We support this proposal. It is time for healing." Outside, the council chamber, a large memorial showed June Kim's face along with the names of all who had fallen in the war. Earth had refused to fight the galaxy's war. Instead, they had fought their own, and in doing so had freed the galaxy itself. In the research center, Tay, Jin, and Sun studied the remains of the parasite technology. "We need to understand it," Tay said, "to make sure it can never be used again." Sun nodded. She still felt the echoes of the hive mind sometimes, but now she also felt something else, the beginning of connections with the free minds across the galaxy. Earth had taken its place among the stars. Not as conquerors, not as servants, but as liberators the stars would never forget.